Okay, hi everybody. Again, I'm taping a lot of these segments and I'll put them together. So if they seem a smidge disjointed, I'm trying to do for expediency here as much as it is for clarity. So anyway, for the working arm on this one, there's something that bothered me. I want to share it with you. And again, any input, anytime, tell me I'm nuts, whatever works, that's okay too. So from this one, this arm obviously sits in this way, and it connects through to the top of the ram. Okay, there's something bothers me. This is cast, this is cast. There's nothing in between them. Okay, usually I like to have some form of a sliding member in between the two, but let me bring this out and I'll give you a look at that. And again, I'm not worried about direction. Well, we'll just put it in there just for sake of clarity. Look at that fit. There is a little bit of side to side. Now take a 3/4 inch shaft in the center there to hold and pilot it. It's going to be even a little bit tighter. There's nothing, there's no lube position, right? I mean, this was at the bottom. You couldn't see it. So unless you were aiming the oil can down, you'd never get it. Okay, no side play and really no way for this thing to thrust because it's going to need a little bit to scrub its way out, but there's nothing to sacrifice in between those joints. So this is going to be a wet sump, as I've talked about previously. So this will likely be submerged to a level where it picks up on the bull gear and then splashes it around. I don't like this because there should be something in between those two cast iron surfaces, because what's going to happen when this thing warms up? It's going to expand. Well, it's going to be a rotating joint here, and that's fine. This is the shaft that was in there that it rotates on. It's kind of got a little goober to it. But this is going to be rotating inside this housing, okay? Just like that. So there's no loop there, no provision for it. The second part is there's really no expansion here. Whenever this is in position, I'm going to expect this to grow a little bit, either the combination of this and or the working arm itself to expand a little bit. Well, that might give a little more clearance, or it's same metal, so maybe it expands at the same rate. So maybe this even gets a little tighter. I think that's friction I don't need. It's not really going to help anything along with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to mill off right at 1/8 of an inch on both sides. And then I'm going to add in some high pressure oilite thrust bearings into that joint. So these will be in between. I think these are impregnated with 90 weight. It's really irrelevant because it's going to be submerged, but it's going to give it a working surface to slip. And then a little bit of side-to-side thrust I think will be absolutely fine. The bull gear is going to be tied down, so as it works up and down, it should maintain a fairly perpendicular line of force. But as it starts to load up, it should need a little bit side to side. So I'm going to take these down. I've actually got two sizes here. A smaller size right here, which is probably the one I'm going to use because it's pretty close to the same. But I'm going to mill that down and put these into that joint. And again, it's all going to be submerged. So I think that'll, for my way of thinking, and it might be completely wrong because I have been wrong before, but this is going to be in between as a thrust bearing. It's going to be not really potentially rubbing so much on this, but it would just be there in the event that I get some side thrust. Because again, the real shaft that's rotating is right here, and it rotates inside of these two housings. These are going to be, I'm going to put a provision in for lube to get in, to be in that joint. And as we talked before, I've already cut the seals for the side of it. So this will be a sealed unit. Now how much it's going to leak, I don't know. Probably will be fine. The next part is this shaft is a little chewed up. I got some 3/4 drill rod. We're just going to make a new one. So while I'm doing that, I thought the only way that this is actually, this rod that's pivoting, the way it's held in position is based upon a set screw right here. So I'm gonna have to mill a flat on the new one and help that lock into position. This is at the very bottom, so it becomes a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to put this thing back together, but I'm gonna lock this in. I'm probably gonna change that out for an Allen head, maybe even take that up a size, because why not? And we'll go from there. So anyway, that's my next little project. Again, I'll put these in sequence. You may see it a little choppy, but I just want to kind of bring you along for the ride. But take this down about 1/8 of an inch, insert these thrusts, make a new shaft going across, and I'm probably going to drill and tap each side of that and put a cap in. In other words, so it will have you know, something to keep it from completely side loading all together, just something to retain it into position. So that's what I'm doing, and hope you hang in there, and we'll see if we get this thing done. It's getting close. I mean, it's in that flux of the chaos of all the stuff that's got to come together. A lot of stuff is done, and we'll bring you back as soon as we got it. Okay, this is the rocking arm, and we're going to take off 132 thousandths off of each side to put in the thrust washer. This is a reminder, because this is a lot of filming going on. These are going to be the on the sides. These are impregnated. These are high load, not high RPM, but again, this rocker is not doing a lot. So they're going to be sitting down here, and then this is what's going to be sitting in between the cast iron. Well, right now it's cast iron on cast iron. We're going to put these in as well. When they start to heat up, the oil starts to be pulled out of itself, so it provides a little bit of lube. But again, this is even going to be submerged. So this is going to be the sacrificial element. So we're going to go 132. These right here, these are measuring out at 130. So we will go probably 2 thousandths more, and then see how we turn out. Because I think that thing should have at least 2 to 3 thousandths of side clearance. That should be perfectly fine for something with that much mass. It should have that ability to move. So I'm going to take it, touch off, and then we're going to dial it in, and then we're going to see. For this one, for my buddy Doug down in Ohio, this is a brand new carbide. What is that, a 5 flute? No, it's just a 4 flute twisted, and solid carbide out of the scrapyard, brand new. Let's see, probably cost about $6. Here, enjoy. All right, just touched off. We're going to set the X to 0. Let's see. Okay, seems like it's doing okay. I will set the Y to 0. All right, we set 132 thousandths. It's going to be a little bit. Cast iron shouldn't require any lube. We're going to go in 15 thousandths, turning about 600 RPM. Okay, we've added our 2 thrust washers on each side. Again, these are high load. Thrust washer is not meant for a high RPM, but again, the stroke on this thing is not all that dramatic. And overall, about 8 thousandths worth of in play. So split that however you like between the two sides. I think that'll give it enough because there's going to be some little bit of thermal expansion as that starts to warm up. Not much, but I think I'm very comfortable with that. That's not bad at all. I think I can live with that. And it gives the ability for, if it's out of line, because Lord knows nothing on this was straight. And that's actually something, part of what I'm saying, well, why didn't you do it like this? Well, I have to kind of maintain the constraints of the way they did it. So ultimately, if I start changing a lot and get it out too far out of line, we may run into some issues with meshing and alignment and a bunch of other odds and ends like that. So I'm trying to be careful for that. Again, we'll figure it out as we go. But I do like that as opposed to running on bare cast iron on each side with almost, well, basically no in play at all. Just cast rubbing on cast. And it's like, it didn't show a ton of wear, but you know, while we're here, let's just change the configuration into something that I like. Again, I'll be posting up several of these videos, which are pieces and parts, but we'll get back to a normal rhythm here. Lots of personal stuff in life jumped in here the last month or so, so we'll get you caught up on this and keep going.